Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit whack.
I mean, it's always gonna be Dirtbag Shit podcast.
The DBS
podcast. Peace and welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Small Hoodie Chacon in the mix, and guess who I got in the house? My motherfucking man, Chris Distefano, the God, the dog. Look who decided to roll through.
What's up, Bob?
Chillin',
Man, we just had a great boxing session at Overthrow. I didn't pay you, and I won't pay you.
Yo, I will be hitting up your DM relentlessly.
Yeah. Yo, you got mad small bottles of water.
Yeah, Sound Lounge provides the best of the best. It ain't that fucking the Sanji water. It's Poland Spring that you get at the massage parlors.
Honestly, I like Sound Lounge. I like the venue. It's a beautiful place. I like the homeless man shitting outside the front door. And it's just New York City. Have you spoken about that? Do the fans know that you have all this artwork on your body?
I believe so. So I have the gorilla tattoo, but it's a thinking gorilla. It's a pensive gorilla on my arm.
Yeah,
like a thinking gorilla.
Yeah.
That day I wasn't thinking very well. I attempted to battle Eminem. I was 21 years old. Eminem walked in the studio in his prime, dropped his first album, and he's doing a promo. And in the middle of a gorilla tattoo, Eminem walks in and says, "Hey," his handler's like, "Hey, can we do a promo for our new artist?" And it was fucking Eminem, and that song "My Name Is" was hot. It was banging, and I had my hat on like out of BC from the Oz, like to the side like a dick. I told my tattooist, "Yo, shout out to Eric Rignall. He still does my artwork to this day." I said, "Hold up, I'm gonna battle him."
Yeah.
I went up to Eminem and I tried to battle him. His sponsor jumped in to be, nah. He's saving his voice, youngin. He's saving his voice. You can't battle him.
Oh my God! I wish the internet was around for that.
Imagine me trying to battle Eminem.
That should be so whack. Shout out, your tattoo artist is an amazing artist because what he has to do, and somehow he's done a good job of this, is make your whack tattoo ideas look good. Because, I don't know if you guys could see this guy. He has that clown tattooed on his body. The first time I remember I saw his arms, I was like, whoa. I almost felt like, he's from the Lower East Side. He told me all about his past, how he used to rob drug dealers with his fists. He's a great boxer, in great shape, way better shape at me and even a few years older. But once I saw that clown tattoo, I said I could beat his fucking ass if he's got a whack-ass clown tattoo like that on his body.
The clown tattoo suggests that it's almost I'm trying to promote, like I lived like a hard, thug life. And you know what? That's nothing is further from the truth.
Because it's one of those things where it's like you talk about your story being in the Lower East Side, Sergio Chacon, and all the stories are very believable, but then you show up with clown tattoos, snakes, and New Balance sneakers. Whack, bro. You wear the same sneakers as like a 75-year-old Jewish therapist from the Upper West Side. It's so whack. You got Dr. Rosenberg shoes.
And I choke them too.
It sucks.
Yeah, when I go sneaker shopping, I'm always like, hey, the wider the better. Are these wide? And I'm like looking at them and handling them.
But the thing is with you is your enthusiasm and passion for animals is it's a beautiful thing. I remember when the quarantine first started, you did a live Zoom show for pet, with the animals in your house. And I remember me and my daughter watching.
You guys were the only two in the live.
No, but honestly, it was great. But I remember even my daughter at a young age, she was 4.5 at the time. She goes, "Daddy, this is so much fun." She goes, "Is that his house?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Isn't his family scared of the animals?" I said, "Yes, they are, sweetie." And I think Sergio needs to have a conversation with his family about why there's venomous, poisonous snakes and pit bulls who not necessarily have not been screamed for rabies around a young child and a woman with frozen dead rats in your freezer. Do you think your wife is happy, Sergio? Liz, are you happy?
Oh shit!
Could you imagine? She's going into the freezer to get Charlie out, to get your daughter out. A frozen lunch for school to thaw it, and then she's got to move a frozen rat to the side.
I know it's right next. The frozen rats for years were next to the Bryce ice cream and sofrito, which is the Spanish seasoning.
Yeah, and then you'll be on the road with me doing our shows on the plane, ordering snakes into a box that she has to go pick up. God knows if it's poison or not. She has no idea to handle it.
The other day, when we were on the road a couple of weeks ago, I say, hey, babe, I didn't feed Herman. He's my boa constrictor.
Oh, Herman, what a whack name.
She's like, hey, babe, I'm so happy you called. I haven't heard from you. Is everything okay? I said, yeah, can you just pull out a couple of frozen rats for Herman?
Yo.
I got to go. Love you. Bye. And I wasn't doing anything. I was just in the hotel room like that.
Yo, it was whack.
Yeah, I swollen from the Thai food we had the night before.
Yo, it's fucking whack, bro. And sick farts you throw. Bro, when your family when you leave your family, it's one of those things where I'm sure they love to have you, but it's one of those things where the house inevitably smells better. They don't have to deal with your farts. They don't have to deal with you having boa constrictors around your neck and then doing boxing classes in the middle of your living room, putting it on Instagram Live for 8 people. Shit is whack. Yo, it's whack.
There's no doubt in my mind when I leave, when the door closes and she sees my overbite just like in front of the waiting for an Uber, just in the middle of the street looking for the Uber. Like there's a sigh of relief when the Uber picks me up and the door slams. She's like, and she like leans against the door. And like,
I remember one time when we were in Boston and you ate a whack-ass piece of salmon and you conveniently had to go to the emergency room and miss the 3 shows we were supposed to do, but somehow you still got paid you still got paid in full. You didn't want to do the 3 shows, so you had an emergency. And I remember having to call your wife and be like, yes, he's okay. And she was a little bit, when I told her that he's going to be okay and probably get out of the hospital that night the next morning, I could see she was a little disappointed. She was like, man, I wish that it was at least going to be a week-long stay so I can get some breathing room here, because with her, because she wants to have breathing room in the house, but the air is filled with farts. Air is filled with farts. So
there's an amazing photo of me. We went to San Antonio, and I walk into the apartment, and less than 3 seconds.
We ate like dirtbags in San Antonio.
San Antonio.
Shout out Mike Suarez. That's why we had like dirtbags.
Yeah, he took us to all the right spots, man. We had like ribs, pulled pork, baked beans,
queso dip.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I walk into the apartment, and like seconds in, I threw a fart like a
yo.
And I had my phone like on video, and I was recording it. And Liz went like this with her shirt. She covered. She looked like she had a burqa on.
Yo.
And she was fierce. And Charlie yelled at me. She's like, "Daddy, that's disgusting! Get out! Get out!" And she chased me like violently. Like I had to leave the apartment again.
Yo,
it was wild.
Yo,
bro.
my
farts draw negative emotion out of people.
No, it's one of those things where like when with fart, the type of farts you have, it's made me question my friendship with you. That I've started to pick, because I used to just say when we go on the road, I say, you know what, let's stay in the same room, save some money. But now I'm spending money. My family isn't able to eat because of the farts that you throw on the road. That I'm like, you know what, the money that I could have gotten my daughters and my children, I could have gotten them toys with. I have to put to Sergio's hotel room because I'll die of his farts.
They could easily be a compilation video made of all the people that have been, livid. I mean, I'm talking about livid. I've thrown farts in different areas, different parts of the country.
Yeah.
And I could remember that I was in Rochester one time, and this is when I was drinking. You're drinking and partying, so that's a different sort of toxic fart.
Right.
So imagine that, like, compounded with bad eating and not the proper rest. Your body is just rejecting.
Yo, what about the fart?
Wait. So I'm in the hallway, and the one of the comics' family members pick us up because they had a rental or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, yo, we're gonna pick Sergio up. He knocked on the door. They knocked on the door. I opened the door, and I'm leading the way, but there's a housekeeper bin, like old food and stuff.
Right.
And I farted right before right after I passed it, and the cousin of the comic got upset. He's like, "Man, this place stinks. Why they got rotten food out here?" He kicked the car. He kicked the car. He shook it. He was violently angry at the smell, and I was like that, laughing with my shoulders like this. It was me.
Yo,
he got mad.
No, the thing is, because the farts that you've thrown, it's like you need to see not a doctor, like a specialist. Like it needs to be special, because then you got an itchy asshole too. I remember one time we drove 6 hours from Pittsburgh, and this guy was itching his asshole in the front seat for mad long, and I was like,
Nah, we ain't even doing that.
We ain't even do all that. Yeah,
I never scratched my asshole in front of you,
bro.
I told you that I had an issue.
Yo.
But what's a better feeling than scratching and the itch in your asshole? I mean, next to that is coming.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, coming one, and then itching the asshole too. I don't really suffer from that, but I've noticed, like, being on the road with you. But the thing is too, is because you're a healthy eater. You're a very healthy eater. You've got a very healthy lifestyle.
But I have cancer in my asshole.
Cancer in your asshole. But it's interesting, man. And dude, the thing is with you, Sergio, is you're one of those guys.
Calling my full name is hilarious.
Sergio Chacon, you've changed your entire life around from 10 years ago, but you still do reckless things. Like I remember one time you told me somebody was being mad loud outside your apartment, which is near a bar, and something happened, and you chased the guy down the street with a baseball bat, socks, and a wife beater on with your dick coming through your underwear hole.
Yeah.
Yo, which could have put you in jail for 5 years easy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these guys, the Lower East Side is wild. It's a fucking party town, and
Especially now it's wild because of Bill de Blasio.
yeah, they're playing beer pong in front of my door. Like I have a ground level apartment, and I was asleep because I sleep through anything, and Liz wakes me up, and she said, these fucking people, they don't leave. So she went out a second time to try to get rid of them, and they told my wife, suck my dick. So I was, when she told me that, I hopped out the bed. And let's just say I didn't put any footwear on, no New Balance with draping the feet.
Yo.
I walked out there with my bunions out, black toenails.
Whack.
With basketball shorts, a little ass dick print, and a Hanes, t-shirt with yellow armpit
Stains. Gross.
Whack. And I was calling them a bundle of sticks out loud.
Yo, this guy said a bundle of sticks.
Yeah, you do the math.
Yo, I know, bro. It's one of those things. It's just very, very interesting. It's very interesting at times because I know Sergio very well. Sometimes he tells me some stories. I'm like, yo, this motherfucker crazy. This motherfucker crazy.
We're having a good time on the road, man. We're in Texas next week.
Yeah, Austin, Texas. And then, bro, we're gonna start doing. We got some big venues coming up.
The only thing I think I'm gonna miss, is that we've been on the road for like 2.5, 3 years, and we did mostly clubs. And listen, we have our gripes about the clubs for obvious reasons. Sometimes they drop checks during the while you're headlining and shit. That's annoying. Being in the hotel too long, but we get a chance to visit the city. We always go to different gyms, which is dope.
Yeah,
we meet different people. Right now, it's Chrissy Theaters.
Chrissy Theaters, everybody.
Yeah, and so we're doing one-nighters. That's going to be a change because we're going to go in the city, and then we're like out the following day.
Yeah, because it's going to be one of those things. You probably get to the city the morning or afternoon of the first city on Friday, do that show, then have to leave first thing in the morning to go either drive or fly to the next city, and then Sunday you're home.
So when you did that with Sal, you did a run with Sal. How was that? Was it like fun, or did it feel like too like get up and go? Did it feel
I liked
like
it.
that?
It made it go by really quick, being in different city, different time, being on different planes. And it's crazy, though, bro, because we left on the morning of December 26th, right after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to my family. I left immediately, and then didn't come back to January 1st. And, that was, height of Omicron. All the news stories about airlines canceling thousands of flights a day. Bro, nobody got COVID, and there wasn't one flight canceled. So it's one of those things where I was like, maybe we just got incredibly lucky, or maybe it's just like the media blows things up out of proportion.
Yo, I honestly, man, you're like one in a million. You're a dude that 85% of the time you're chewing your thumbnail, smelling your fingers. Yo, your mask is crooked. Your nose is always protruding out. You got this big golden retriever head, and you don't give a fuck about any sanitary shit that has to do with COVID. And you never got it.
Nah, I know.
You're built differently,
never got it. And my vaccine was saline. yo,
you were kicking and screaming a little bit about the vaccine.
I was one of the last people to get it. I was like, I finally got it when my friend, who's a doctor, who's an emergency room doctor, he kind of, he was letting it go. He was like, whatever.
Let me guess his name, Lukasz.
He,
which is a silly name.
My daughter's godfather. He's Polish, Bob.
Yeah, I like that name.
Yeah.
And Lukasz is the man.
He's the man.
It's such an adorable name, Lukasz.
Yo, man,
it's a fun name.
He looks like a lollipop. Man skinny with a big ass head.
It reminds me of me when I was training for amateur fights. When you train for amateur fights, all the weight from your body is gone, but your head remains the same size. I was walking around looking like a fucking blow pop. Like,
you look whack.
And then you gotta shave your beard, so I look like Homer Simpson on crack.
It was whack.
Yeah. Like my neck.
Yo, because you got yellow skin. You look like because what is, bro, sometimes when I look at you, I'm like, yo, does this guy have a liver disease? What is it with your skin?
I do not have yellow skin.
Yo.
You said that was such
look
conviction.
at you in the camera. Shit is yellow.
Nah, man, I actually have a nice complexion, guy.
Yo.
Besides this cluster of pimples that's been here since Arizona. I wonder why. I wonder what happened in Arizona.
You're on steroids.
I got this cluster of pimples. Yo. I was eating like shit out there.
Yeah, you're eating like a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what the fuck? What were we talking about? What was
we're talking about you being in the middle. I remember because you have a nice collection of friends. You know a lot of people. You want to make sure that the people around you are happy. You're a very generous person that way. and you're a smart person. However, you don't want to put your foot down with certain things, right? So people on the your lefty friends were like, "You got to get vaccinated, Chrissy. It's the right thing to do." And then your firefighter friends was like, "Oh, you can't put that fucking poison in your debate."
Yeah,
you
what are you,
kidding me?
fucking Democrat, you cuck?
Yeah.
They were like, so, but finally, my boy, who's a science doctor, he was like, look, man, everybody coming in here now is unvaccinated. He said, as a doctor, he was like, I'm just telling you, man, you're so stupid if you don't just get this vaccine. Like, you're so fucking stupid. Stop watching the news. Stop listening to the media. I see the patients. He was like, you trust me, right? I was like, yeah, you're my daughter's godfather. He's like, then I'm telling you to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had a little bit of side effects the second shot, but that's it, man. And I was fine, Now that booster is another story.
Booster, right?
That booster, I don't know about that booster.
You know what's crazy? I was indifferent towards it. I wasn't jumping up to get it, but as time went on, I realized, yeah, this is for me, and I'm going to make a decision. And I did it. I did it because my mother had an underlying condition, and I just thought it was the right thing. My gut instinct was telling me, and listening to the report consistently.
The thing is, if
There's
you live in America,
incidents.
everybody in your everybody's family member has some type of underlying condition. The thing is, America, we are one big underlying condition because of the cholesterol, the blood pressure, the mental health. If you are an American citizen, you are an underlying condition.
Right.
What I want to get to, though, with you is where does your love for animals come from? What tragic events did you try to escape from that you found pleasure and happiness inside of a snake cage?
Yo.
What happened? Because there's no way that you love animals the way you do without some trauma. So let's get to the heart of that.
Yo, I like the way you're a complete pro because you're flipping the script, turning the tables around like
It's my show, Pop.
Yo, you treat me like you Barbara Walters on this motherfucker.
Yo, you sweat it. With two cum drops on your head. That shit is whack.
Yo, these younger comics, they're funny. Like, you gotta listen. This dude's, he's maybe like 6 months in the game. He's like, yo, Serge, I love your shit, but yo, your head stays shiny. You look like Silver Surfer out this motherfucker.
Yo, Silver Surfer, she's whack.
It would have been better if I didn't stutter through that whole thing.
Well, that's why I'm the headliner.
Yo, there's been a couple of times. It doesn't happen often, but I fucked up, like the intro.
Yo, you better not fuck that up. February 5th, Beacon Theater. You heard?
I was like that. Thank you.
Yo, you're a dirtbag too, bro. Does Liz watch the podcast?
No.
Or no? Oh, she doesn't? Yo, you're a dirtbag too because you were about
Wait. Are you going to say something that she may not want to hear?
No. Because I was to say, you called me. You were like, yo, I don't want to cancel these shows. I don't want to cancel these shows with you March 5th in Cleveland, but, it's my wife's birthday, so should we just do it? I was like, bro, if you miss your wife's birthday because of a show of mine, you're fucking going to be in hot water. But, you were considering missing your wife's birthday party because to do a show with me in Cleveland. So what's your obsession?
No.
Can you say that? You got to cut that.
No, we can absolutely say that.
Yeah.
I just thought I could do it all, but you were right. And that's funny that you would give me rational advice.
Because my life is chaos.
Your life is upside down, Paul.
Yo.
Yeah, I thought it would be a great idea to take a plane to Ohio February 4th and then fly back and organize a surprise party.
Yeah.
For her.
For her, yeah. Just like the entire city of New York shut down, I believe it was March 18th, 2020. I go to call Sergio March 19th, 2020 to say, hey, I know the world shut down, but why don't we go train a little bit in the park? He said, I can't do it. I'm on a plane to Michigan to go to a snake show. I said, excuse me, sir? The entire world just shut down. He was like, I got to go see a snake show. And then what happens? He comes back with COVID. He gave his entire family COVID because he wanted to go see a snake show. I remember he posted an Instagram boomerang of his feet on a plane. He was like, I ain't scared. And this guy came back with a cough and a fever for 2 weeks. Your wife couldn't smell for a month. But that was a positive thing because at least you couldn't smell your gassy asshole.
Yo, the thing is, this is the facts.
Facts.
Facts. COVID had just came out. I didn't know if I had it or not, but I kind of knew I had it. Like, you're like, I'm lying, but I ain't joking. Like, I'm playing, but I ain't joking.
Yo, you're
like,
a risky motherfucker because you went on the plane and got COVID.
But I didn't know for sure.
Bro, the whole city shut down. And then you fucking got
I'm
you got the Johnson & Johnson after they announced it to give blood clots. That's the one you got because you don't want to get 2 shots.
Yeah,
but yo, you know what I mean? You got balls.
Yeah, there's something about my personality that likes to flirt with a little bit of that shit because I don't have anything else.
Look where, yeah. Well, you better stop that. But seriously, when do you remember having an affinity for animals?
I think my mother was always working, so anything I wanted, she would give me as far as like pets, and
Right.
it could give me a good sense of responsibility and just nurturing them and caring for them. And that was also a good pastime for me and my mom. Every week we used to go to the pet store and
Yeah.
pick up food for them and everything. And I just liked them. They brought me joy. I was a nerd, Chris. I was kind of whack. My friends used to pick me up. My boy, I had a boy named Hassan and Sean. They used to come through, dribbling the ball between the legs. Yo, Serge, you want to play ball? And I would come out with a camera around my neck and a bag of peanuts. I think I'm gonna feed the squirrels today.
Yo, so you go to the park and feed the squirrels?
Yeah. Wow. And one time I was feeding the squirrels like this, and they would take it from my hand. They threw the basketball back of my head. Boom. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
Because it's very
Nuts.
interesting to me is that you have a love for animals, that you'll do anything to cherish or nurture animals, but then you have a love for boxing, so you want to hit humans and you want to take care of animals. So I always thought about that. That was always interesting to me, how a man loves boxing and also loves animals. But I feel like with you, do you feel like your love of animals is transferring on to your daughter? Do you feel like your daughter has the same passion for animals as you?
Yeah, not with the reptiles. I think it's like
I don't blame her.
because
You want to
they're
play
not
with Daddy's
emotional.
crocodile?
Yeah, I don't think she cares. I think she's indifferent towards the reptilians.
So the reptilians, but you think she does? Do you see traits of your daughter in you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my daughter's mad silly. She got mad jokes. Do you find the same with Delilah?
Yeah, then that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I feel like now, your daughter's a little older than mine. 6, yours 9, right?
10.
10. So my daughter's 6, my oldest daughter's 6, and I feel like now I'm starting to see her personality. Bro, I don't know if I told you this, but it's something that gave me goosebumps. It's just amazing how like science can't explain everything, right? Genetics and all that. So, my daughter, this was a couple of years ago. She, I go to pick her up from school, pre-K or whatever, and the teacher, who was a teacher there for 25 years, like a preschool teacher, vet. She goes, your daughter did the funniest thing today. She goes, and she was like, I've seen every joke in the book. All kids pretty much repeat the same joke. She's like, but your daughter did something today that was original and was making me laugh. She was like, I was like, wow. I was like, what'd she do? She said, it was time for dismissal. She started putting on everybody's coats, just putting one coat on after another, and then walking around and like that. And she was like, we're all laughing because she was like, that's pretty highbrow for a 3.5-year-old or a 4-year-old. She was like, I've never seen it. So a couple of days later, I take her by my mother's house, and I'm talking to my mom, and I'm like, oh, Ma, Delilah did the funniest thing the other day. The teacher said she put on all her coats. She put on every kid's coat, and it was a funny thing. And my mom goes, oh, my God. She goes, that's so interesting. And she goes, I'll be right back. Comes back with a shoebox, takes out a picture. Me at 3 years old, put on everybody's coats.
Yeah.
Never mentioned it, never anything. The same bit that teacher, and my mother remembers vividly, she said the preschool teacher back then saying, what an interesting child you have. Like, nobody does that. So it's like this thing where it's like, I never talked about the bit that my mother is positive Delilah never saw that picture because it was buried in a shoebox high up that she hadn't even taken out in 15 years. And she did that bit.
Well, you know what it sounds to me? It sounds like she got the personality traits of a hoarder or someone who's going to be homeless in the street and wearing every layer of their clothing.
Yo!
Because there's insecurity.
Or a multimillionaire like her pops. Yo, imagine that's a multimillionaire. You know what I'm saying? You heard me.
Yo, Chris starts to talk like that in the green room.
Yo, like
sometimes
that.
the waitresses walk in and it's like, hey, Chris, what would you like for your intro? And you'd be like, I don't need it.
I'll be like, yo, Dom Perrier.
Yo,
Perrier.
let me get that filet mignon.
I know. I saw a waitress I haven't seen in a while last night at the Comedy South. Said, I miss you, girl. Yo, I start talking like that.
Yeah,
She's
you
like,
don't even look at their face. You
Nah.
look at their throat.
Yo, like that. Yo, I look at their dimensions. I got to my phone like, which one are you? 36 double D. Yo, imagine. That's a dirt. There's people. No, we fuck around, but there's actually men out there that act that way. That's crazy. One of the best. One of the laughs that Sergio and I get. We see, and he's a bigger aficionado in it than I am, but the unbelievable comedy in rap, like in Cameron, in lyrics that even I've sung out loud or sung in my head every day, and never thought about how incredibly funny rappers are. I have such a new respect for rappers. I mean, I always knew that it was difficult to rhyme a lot of words, and it's a very unique talent.
The wordplay.
but how actually like they saying smart things and almost doing like haikus and poems, rhyming them off the top of their head.
But they're saying some of the foulest shit, too.
Foulest, funniest shit. I mean, like what's that rapper when he goes, I'm gonna take some of your shit and meet you at 11.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of them. But Cameron specifically, he says, I'll push the H on your block in front of H on our block. Girls see rocks on my watch, they put their face on my cock.
Yo. And then I've tried to do that.
I'll sell drugs in front of a tax. What's H on our block? Is that a tax?
It's a tax place, yeah.
He's selling heroin in front of a tax place.
Yeah.
And then while he's doing so, the diamonds on his wrist are glistening.
Yes.
And then the girls are enticed by that, and they give him fellatio.
Both our girls, your wife and my girlfriend, listen to us. And probably the way that we talk on the phone and the things that we think are funny, they think are deplorable. Because I've tried to play rap songs that you and I have been howling laughing at for Jasmine, and she's turned it off and been like, this is disgusting, this is degrading. Is this what you do with Sergio? And I'm like that. I'm like, I thought it was fun, babe.
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's one thing if you're like telling Jazz, this is funny, take a listen. But you ever been caught out there? Yeah. One time I pocket dialed. We were out. Where the fuck were we with Pimp? I believe we were in Rhode Island, and we were in an underground parking lot garage, and I was texting Liz, and then I called her, and I'm telling Homeless Pimp, I'm like, yo, listen to these lyrics, and then it was Cameron lyrics like, yo, bitch, you're gonna idolize me. I'm royalty from the crown of my head to the A6 on my feet. Bitch, look in the mirror, and I'll stand behind you. Like, it was just the most.
And we were dying laughing,
yeah,
right?
laughing. And I'm butchering it now, but it was like the funniest. Like he was like, take a look in the mirror. Be proud of yourself. You're the topic of discussion in every nail shop. And I said, that's the way I talk to my wife. And
and we're dying.
Yeah. And Liz is doing. I mean, and Pimp is doing all like this B-roll. Like, oh my god, this is fire. It's fucking hilarious. And I was talking mad shit.
Yeah.
And it was like on 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like the call, like the voicemail, but it wasn't a voicemail. She was actually listening to everything.
And was she?
And she was like, "Oh, you're talking a lot of caca." That's what she wrote in a text.
Yo.
And I tried to text her back.
And you got mad. What did I say?
Yeah, I had to take a time out.
Yo, I know, bro. I remember one time, because I have a 6-month-old too, and when just a couple months ago, my little one Violet was about 3 months old. I didn't know Jasmine was standing behind me with the baby, and I was doing just repeating like some lines from like a sketch that was just like degrading women and all, but it was like a comedy show.
That's the thing, man.
I was just being stupid.
We're just like shuffling shit out, see what sticks, and
yeah.
a lot of it's dumb.
I was like doing a persona of a character that I was like, this will be funny, and then I can, make fun of how like I'm not that person, whatever. And I just didn't know Jasmine was there, and she's like, "Is this how you speak to women?" And then she was like, "Is this what you think?" And then she was just sitting there. She's like, "I want to remind you, Chris, that you have daughters." And then and walked away and made me an egg sandwich.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. One situation that pops out of me. I was writing a joke, and I used to put them on yellow sticky notes, and I put it on my wall. My mother came into my.
I don't have enough money for a laptop.
I put it on my wall, and I was saying how the premise was how I like to be with women who have like been sexually abused because they'll be great in bed.
Real nice.
Like but just reading that. But the premise was like I was trying to make that funny, and I never got to that. But she read that, and my mother sat me down for like an hour. And she's like, Sergio, I work for Sanctuary for Battered Women, and these cases of women who are exploited in the sex trade, and like. She was talking to me like that. I was like, I'm just trying to make a joke.
Yeah, I know. I remember one time I had an ex-girlfriend, and I was talking on the phone with my boys. Like, we were just having, like, it was like when people would talk on, like, three-way conversations, and one of my boys had hooked up with I didn't have any kids yet. I had hooked up with a woman who, who had children or whatever. And, like, we were, like, I forgot, like, somehow or whatever, but one of my friends, I remember, like, I have speaker, and one of my friends was like, yo, at least you know she's fucking, dude. She's fucking. And we were dying laughing, like, yeah, fucking pounded. And the girl was just there like that. Is that what you think? And I was like, no, I'm just having guy time. The thing is, I think what I could say as a guy, what I think the best relationships are like, just let your guy pig out a little bit. I'm not saying with other women. I'm saying just let us fucking talk and be men. We'll let you talk and be women, whatever the hell you want to talk about and bullshit, whatever. But it's like, just let us fucking, like there's a part of a man's mind that's like, you just want to talk about women and fucking crazy shit and all. But the women that don't allow you to do that and express it, then it comes out in other ways. You know what I mean? So I think it's important for healthy relationships. I'm going through a divorce. I think it's important though, where it's like, you gotta just let people be people. Especially now, this whole thing. Like now, it's like, bro, the reality is we can all connect to anyone we want anywhere in the world. This is like a new thing. Even 20 years ago, you really only just knew the people around you. So, but now it's like, there's just so many opportunities at every turn and so many vices that can get you at every turn. I think you got to just it's almost like less is more. Like, do not make things more tense, because then people's inevitably are going to be, especially now, it's like, now with this metaverse stuff, I'm thinking all about this metaverse. It's like, there's people now that they have an entire physical life, and then they have an entire digital life. So now what's happening is men or women, whomever, are starting to, the people who are already well versed in the metaverse and that digital technology, which I'm not yet, they'll hate their physical life and then just escape to their digital life, which isn't really real, but they'll have a wife and kids in a digital life that they they'll have an auto blow machine and fucking VR goggles. Guys will sit with VR goggles and an auto blowjob machine and absolutely ignore their actual wife and kids.
Yeah, and that's already going on today with phones and fucking and porn and shit. That's like taking it to a whole other level.
Porn is very, very, very unhealthy, and it's just because it's not realistic, and then it's just extremely unhealthy. I don't know how to stop watching porn. As soon as I get into any hotel room, I'm fucking on Pornhub right away. But that's most men probably, and women. Women watch a lot of porn too, but it is not good for you.
No, man. And when I'm on the road, I watch it to the point where my eyes sink in my skull.
Yo.
Yeah, I watch a lot of porn on the road.
I know, that's the thing. Like the people who just give their phones to someone and just will be scrolling through a phone to find a picture. I'm like, yo, I can't do that because I screenshot porn stars all day.
Yeah, I mean, and when I practice restraint from porn, I feel much better.
Of course.
Yeah, I feel more whole.
Yeah, because you're a very motivated guy. You're always going on runs. You're always exercising. You're always doing things. And we know, of course, your close friends know that you're doing that because you have other demons that'll pop up if you don't do that. But still, it's inspiring to see you make what I want to do this year. It's January. What I want to do this year, and you're going to help me. First I was thinking on New Year's Eve, I was like, I want to run a marathon. I'm not doing that. I want to run a 10K. That's what I want to get to by the end of the year. I want to in the summertime, not 5K. I think I could even pace that out and do that now. I want to do a 10K. That's what I want to do. So I'm looking at you for help for free.
Yeah, and you would think I would know how many miles a 10K is.
I don't know shit. I think because a 5K is about 3. I thought it was roughly 6.
Yeah, I think you could do a half marathon.
What's a half marathon? 13?
Yeah.
I'm down to try.
Yeah.
Let's shoot for the half marathon because you know what there's many times where I've woken up because there's many times where I've woken up on a Saturday or weekend and either you've been doing a marathon, you've been doing a race, or just on a jog where you've logged 8-9 miles already. That's like a euphoric feeling that I want to chase, because I even when you go do a marathon and you've done all your races, it's like it's just like this sense of accomplishment, this sense of community that I think that for some reason in my life very, very recently I'm like, I want that. I want to do that.
Yeah, and the thing is, all the discipline that it takes to do a race like that, it is applied to other areas in your life. So if it's like porn you want to restrain from it, it's easy to do because you did the work in another area in your life. It really does. It does transfer over.
Yeah.
So 10K is 6 miles. That's super doable, man. I mean, I think you could do
Do you have a running program that you subscribe to, or like when you're training, or how do you do it? How do you train for something like that?
So I've always learned well. I've always been able to ingest information by others and doing it with physical examples. Like reading it is one thing, but I may sort out the mentorship of a guy who ran a marathon, and they'll give me an outline. So I had my boy Joey G. He did a marathon before.
Joey Giratano.
Yeah,
I started open mic comedy with him.
Yeah, and he gave me an outline to the marathon, and it was like how many times you should run. And so I would ask questions. This past marathon, my boy Derek Drescher, and he gave me an outline. It was a little different. And, you just pick and choose what works for you.
And you got to a place where now you can even run without music. Like, you could do 20 miles without any
I mean, that I treat myself now. So I'm always switching it up. So, for example, if I don't want to run 12 miles, I'll tell myself, I'm going to do that 12 miles, but I'm even going to make it more difficult for myself. I'm going to run the first 6 to the rhythm of my own breath, and then I'm going to treat myself the last 6 miles to music. So
It's almost like a treat.
Oh,
right.
my God. So the last 6 miles, now you got beats, and you go full throttle, and it's exciting because I earned the music.
Yeah, because and also too, like running outdoors, you probably explore and like see things you never would have seen because you don't take the same path every time, right?
I try not to.
Yeah,
I always
that's
try to do
good.
it a little different.
Yeah.
And like the other day I ran. It was 20 degrees out. It was
Yeah.
mad cold, and it was something I didn't want to do, but my head wasn't right. There was like a fog, and I said, I know if I run, and especially in these conditions, I'm gonna feel much better because it's gonna be challenging. So I laid up and I just did the run. And let me tell you, I was high the rest of the day. My spots late in the night. It
Felt
was
good.
I just felt free and clear. Like running for me really does liberate
When
me.
you first started running, how much could you do? Like, what's been the progression? Like,
You know,
because when I saw you, there was a time I think it was 2010 maybe. So now it's about 12 years ago. Yo, you were mad bloated. You walk around a white beat. It might have been one of the first days with your wife, who's now your wife. And I was handing out flyers at the Laugh Lounge Comedy Club on Rivington Street, which isn't there anymore. And and at that time I was all like that. I was jacked up. I had big traps.
You had the Brock fucking traps, like
Yo,
the Goldberg traps.
and you walked by with your girlfriend, who is now your wife. And I was like, yo, what's up, Serge? And I patted down your stomach. I was like, how many months are you?
Yeah, mad disrespectful.
And then you and very beautiful wife walked by, and I was like, yo, call me one day if you want a real man, girl. And then I gave her a fly to the comedy show.
Yeah, Hot Punch Sundays. We do it every week, all year long.
Yo,
like
so
talking like that.
Yo, like that. And I was like that.
You had a little leather jacket too.
Yo,
with
like
your
that.
fucking traps on.
Yeah.
Like that.
And she's like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
Yo.
And then, and it affected me because me and Liz had walked like 4 blocks past you, and I still kept on asking her questions like, "You think I look like my belly looks big?"
Yo, I remember. Yeah.
We talked about 4 different things, and now it kept on resurfacing. I was like, "Yeah, man, those cheeseburgers made me bloated, but
Yo, but that's not really what I look like, right? Yo, like that,
Yeah.
I'm fucking your head. I'm like that.
You got in my head
like that on steroids. But like,
Did you really do steroids, or you fucking around?
I fuck around.
That's fun how you ran with that.
Fuck around.
One straw.
But I do want to take it. I want to start taking testosterone. No, but
So you could take the lotion.
really?
There's a lotion, I think.
Would you do it? Testosterone?
You know-
Not steroids, but like if you had low testosterone, would you take it? It's more like a supplement than
You know what? I'll be lying if I was to say I haven't thought about it, but I never actively, try to get it. I thought about it. I was like, oh man, imagine having a little bump in energy.
Yeah. As we get older.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, listen, I don't think I need it. I definitely
don't need it.
But I like the idea of having that extra bump.
So wait, so
But
do you?
but no, to answer it simply, no, not yet.
But do you remember then? Because I think it's like good. I know like if I was a listener at home, like it's nice to hear like progression stories because now you've gone all the way to a marathon. Like at that point when when I was making fun of your belly, like what could you run at that point? Was it like 2-3 miles, or could you always run distance?
Yeah. So the thing is, and to be quite honest with you, I've always ran. And I boxed for as long as I can remember. Like, we're talking about the ages of 13,
You've always
14.
run in physical world, and you've always run from your feelings and your problems.
And I've always done that. The things I eliminated, which is drugs and alcohol, that gave me such a boost.
Right.
And I'm talking about a boost in my self-esteem.
Right.
Physically, what I was able to do, and just emotionally, what I was able to handle. So anything that was considered adversity, once I removed those things, I started supplementing it with training, my mind, my body.
Right.
So life is just a lot more manageable.
Yeah,
so with that, the stress of running longer
Right.
is definitely something it's tangible to
Your
me.
mind always is clear at the end of a run.
I just know I can do it. You
Right.
know, but when I had other things going on in my life, when I was drinking, listen, it doesn't have to be drinking like me, but with drinking like me, an accumulation of the hours I was putting in with active drinking and drugs and not getting the proper rest, it became like a 45-hour week. I added the hours up.
Right.
Of like, how much time am I putting into 45 hours? I could have a fucking job as an Uber making $2,000 extra a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about it, like, I was like, that's another job right there.
Right.
So you eliminate that. What am I filling this time with? Oh yeah, working out, being more present and whatever. So with that being said, everything just it was heightened. My sense of myself, my self-esteem, the running just were just longer, and my ability to want to engage with people who are much better in every area,
Right.
of whether it was a runner or comics I was hanging out with, like everything. I was confident enough to be approach that and seek.
Yeah, because you feel at 42?
42.
42 that you're in the best shape of your life at 42.
I feel good, like when I first started boxing, it was a different sort of shape. It was like boxing shape where I went down to 160. So I was like all teeth, all head, but I was mad ripped. But I was mad fast, but I was also 20. When I joined Gleason's, I was like 24 years old. So it's this different.
And that's the thing. Like I like to hear, because sometimes like I'm 37, I feel like my prime's behind me, whatever this and that. But it's like there's so many stories of people that are like, nah, I feel the best. You just have to actively take care of your body at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just got to work smarter. And there's many examples of it. Like Bernard Hopkins, he was a boxer who fought to like 50 years old, and he was actively competitive, like whooping young people's asses.
Yeah, he never let himself get out of shape.
never-
though,
yeah,
probably.
he
That's
got-
the thing. If you get yourself really out of shape, it's a lot to climb up the hill. But I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, no, and you can do it. And you know what? It's something that you've been back and forth with, but you want to do it. And I know you're gonna do it to report where
So
you
I've been
want
boxing with you for 8 years. I still don't know how to throw anything. Yo, I'm man inconsistent.
to. Yo, maybe it's my teaching. Maybe you need a new coach.
Yo, maybe I do. It's
Yeah,
man
I'm
inconsistent. Man inconsistent.
Yeah, but so the half marathon, that's a goal.
Yeah.
And once you get that,
Half marathon for me. Half marathon's a goal. What I've tried to now be concrete this year in actual written down goals. So I have one financial goal of a number I want to hit every month. I have a financial goal. I have, for me personally, a weight loss goal that I want to have a concrete number there every month, and then I have a like an emotional goal to that I have. So the financial goal is a number. The weight loss goal is down. It's a 25-pound weight loss throughout this year, and then the emotional goal is to be more upfront and honest with people. So it's not even necessarily about lying. It's about, that is included, but it's about being upfront and honest with everyone in my life about what I want from the relationship, from the conversation, as small, because I felt too many times in my life I was putting my happiness in second place, and then that was making me hurt people accidentally, canceling on them, lying to them to get out of things, when if I would have just put myself first, because I was always thinking, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to put myself first. I want to help others, and all that. But I noticed what happens is it actually turns into selfishness, because I'll wind up canceling on someone. I'll wind up lying to someone. I'll wind up betraying someone accidentally because I never wanted to do it in the first place, where now I want to say, I don't want to do this. Even if that hurts them more, it's better to just be upfront and honest with them than lie.
yeah, that's an interesting point. I think a lot of people feel that way, where they don't want the confrontation of saying no to somebody, but in actuality, you don't have to. It's so people are much more appreciative of this getting the clear.
Yeah.
The clear answer of what it is, and then they could move on accordingly. But if it's like a gray area, or like there's like a yin yang that's pulled back and forth, it makes it confusing.
Yeah, I've noticed that certain people in my life, when I wasn't acting that way, it's like they look at me as flaky, they look at me as dishonest, they look at me as and I don't like that. I'm like, and the reason why I did that was never from a negative point of view. It actually started out with, I don't want them to. I don't want to say no to them and hurt them, but I wound up saying no to them. The only things that happened were negative. I wound up saying eventually no to them later on, when made them cancel plans, or they had to rearrange their life X, Y, and Z, and it was no good. And two, I wound up hurting myself because I would just carry the weight of, I know I'm going to cancel them, I don't want to do this, and I would just have to make up. I'd be like, okay, I would have sometimes things in my phone, cancel on so-and-so this day, just send them the text.
Yeah,
and I was like, what am I doing?
It's a weird.
I didn't like myself like that.
Yeah, it's a weird way to go about things, right? Because like you almost have like good intent, but now you're carrying that shit.
Yeah.
And
how many times did I cancel on you on this podcast?
For real.
Yo.
This guy, his New Year's resolution is in full throttle. He's like, I can't cancel on Surge this time
Can't
around.
cancel on Surge.
But it's funny how I trapped you into doing it. Because like, yo, you want to come train? And then I was like, yeah, I'll walk you downtown. Then we went uptown to the fucking
with a
train.
scooter like a dick on a train, got me COVID. I know. My family was like, you're going to leave all day? I was like, yeah, I got to do Sergio's podcast. And they was like, okay.
Yeah, closed mouth
Is that
smiles
worth it?
like that.
Yeah, she was like, okay.
Yeah.
Guess
Yeah.
I'll just be with the children, and I'll cook, and I'll clean, and I'll do everything else, but have fun. Have a great day.
And then walks away like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And one thing about making those decisions, I make sure that you can't allow it to get out of hand with taking too much on. Like, I want to do this, that, and the third. The relationship with myself always has to matter first.
Yeah.
You got to prioritize that, because if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, then inevitably it bleeds out
It's
to
not
every
a
other relationship. Like, it sounds selfish, but if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, your relationship with your work is compromised. Your relationship with your partner, your lover is compromised.
Everything.
Your kids is compromised.
You even have to. I was going to say, you even have to put yourself. My children are my world, but it's like my happiness and health has to come first, so I have the ability to help them. They're always on the forefront of my mind of every decision. But I realized, like I would say a lot last year, I'm in 5th place in my own life and take it as a badge of honor, when it's like, yeah, but I'm not happy. I'm depressed. Now, if you put yourself first, it's infectious. Everybody is happy and healthy around me now, because I've decided, let me, get what I got to get done first for my mind, and every one of my family members or people that needs will be met.
And we also forget that when we are moving forward to bettering ourselves, that shit inspires people. And we forget that. Sometimes we think, oh, this feels selfish, or I'm taking away time from making money, or from spending time with my family. But the hour you give yourself, and it's positive, people see that, and that energy is contagious.
Yeah, because it's like one of those things where I would be like, now it's like if I go exercise in the gym or go for a run for an hour, yes, it's an hour away from my family, but the time I spend with them will be so much more impactful, because I'll have that high and feel good and be happy,
definitely more
as opposed to
present.
being like, you know what, I don't want to do that now. Then I'm just sitting there like a fucking lump on the couch because I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Well,
what I find, if I don't give myself that release, whether it's through running, through training, or even sometimes just writing or something creative, my idle time with my family or my friends, I'm just not present. I'm like a little more moody.
Yeah.
I just don't feel. I feel like agitated.
I'm never really present. I'm looking at ass on Instagram.
Yo, these girls clapping and they ain't using hands.
Yo, that was a hilarious line to a song.
It's crazy, like, how we could talk about something so profound and, and innovative and philosophical and, like, positive, changing our lives. But then, 2 seconds later, we're on Instagram and we're seeing booty cheeks like this, the shaking, like waves. And we're like, ugh.
Honestly, man, I think what's starting to happen now, too, is the people are starting to look at, like, almost like the social media and the internet at, like, when cigarettes first came out, even doctors were promoting it. They were like, it's good for you, it's great, it relieves stress, whatever it is. But now it's like, of course, now it's like, the health warnings and all that of cigarettes, even though you still smoke.
Yeah, actually, I stopped January 1st, and I'm not one of those
It's only
dudes.
January 2nd.
I know. Wait, no.
No, it's January 6th. Storm the Capitol.
Yo, today's the anniversary. I'm surprised you're here and I celebrated.
Yo, I got to fly. I got to fly to 2 p.m. But yeah, I think that social media is being looked at now as like a cancer of the mind. Like, it's like I have found recently what I've been trying to do. It doesn't always work, but what I've been trying to do is just post what I need to post for work, post a clip or whatever, or a flyer that I need, and then get off. Don't worry about the comments. Don't even look at them. Don't constantly. I'm trying not to look for. I'm trying not to seek approval from the internet anymore. Well, I used to be like, I'm going to take this post down if it doesn't get this many likes in this many minutes. Now I don't care. If one bombs, it bombs. If one crushes, it crushes. Either way, I posted it because I wanted to. I reviewed that content. I'm comfortable with it. That's enough.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's anotad day.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, and
Yeah,
I don't mean that in a very like machismo, like, oh, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like a comment made by someone you don't know, whether it's good or bad, the good feels good, but you also got to be careful not to take too much of the good and let it get to our head, right?
Yeah, because
and that's not a quote that I came up with. I think who was that? There was like some Gary V personality. It's like, if you're gonna get down on the bad comments, you also can't go too up on the good comments.
You gotta always stay in the middle.
Stay in the middle.
I try to every time I try to live my life like that, where it's like I'm just trying to my struggle every day is just to stay balanced in the middle, to not get too high or too low. The struggle is I always want to be hovering around the middle. A little bit north, a little bit south is okay at times, but I'm always trying to hover in the middle, and that's not. Some people would say like, oh, that's so depressing. I think you'll enjoy life for longer that way, just by trying to stay in the middle, because inevitably, at least in my mind, when there's a humongous high in my life, my brain then starts to say, well, what goes up must come down, and now there's going to be an extraordinary low. So I used to just not understand that and just be in these waves. But now I'm like, hey, If you crush on stage or you make a lot of money one month, great, enjoy it, fine. But don't get too upset if the same thing doesn't happen next month. Just stay in the middle the whole time. Don't let it in, like Gary Vee or whomever said. I don't let too much in and I don't let too much out. I just try to stay right in the middle.
Yeah, because then you just your expectations are just too high, or you respond to the failures. You take that shit too seriously. And
Right.
like, yo, none of it is that serious when you're like present.
Yeah.
It really isn't. Like
No.
when you think about the shit that really bothered us in the past, it's so trivial now.
Yeah.
It's so trivial.
Like, now-
you think about breakups, and they deserve the
Yeah.
energy and the time.
Yeah, or especially like now having kids and having like
think kids
a
have a-
thing outside of you. I'm like, I cannot believe that I went round and round in these relationships with these people for so long when it's like I could have just gotten my happiness and my peace immediately. Once you have children, it's a different thing. Even like when I see some of, our peers or friends of mine like go back at, quote unquote trolls on the internet, I'm like, what are you doing? Why would you let that into your life? One time a friend of mine said to me, it's dope. It doesn't seem like your comedy gets any hate. Every single day of my life, people hate on my comedy and say negative, nasty things to me. I never even so much as favorite it. What I do is any negative comments I see, like I said, I don't look as much at the haters anymore, but if I do catch it, I don't favorite it. I don't retweet it. I don't go at them. I don't do anything. I don't even positively say anything to them. I just mute them. So meaning like they can tweet at me all they want. I'll never see it on my feed again. And there used to be a thing where it's like, no, bro, that's weak shit. Like, it's like, it's not. I want to try to be as positive and get as many positive confirmations as I can in my day. There's no point in the negative. If you're being driven off the haters, to me, that's wrong. It's like your motivation has to come from within you. Like the only hater on you should be yourself. If you don't like something about yourself, change it. Don't let anybody's external influence motivate you in a negative way at all.
Yeah, I never understood that either. Like,
Yeah.
thriving off the negativity.
So whack.
Yeah,
it's all I'm seeing is the sadness and pain in my peer who's going out to troll that has a 10 times most likely bigger platform than this other sad person. Do you understand how sad and mentally unwell you need to be to tweet something or Instagram something negative at someone like that you don't know? You are dying inside. You're drowning in pain, because if you're happy, you wouldn't do that. You would never do that.
Yeah.
I think the same thing is true with road rage. I think the happier you are, the less road rage you have. If you're someone who's just angry at everything, a hair trigger, as soon as somebody cuts you off, you're like, fuck you. But if you're not, like, like my father only learned how to drive later on in life, so very anxious behind the wheel, doesn't have the most money in the world, doesn't have,
Tampatoni drives 10 and 2. He's driving like a turtle in Florida.
Like that.
Yo, get off the fucking road.
Yo, honestly, no, he doesn't. The thing is with Tampatoni is he's happy with his life. Bro, I've seen people cut him off, get into mini fender benders, doesn't yell at anybody, doesn't say anything, and just casually lets it slide. Yeah. And I'm like, I even you learn to drive later in life, and I never see you get road rage because you're happy with what you got, even though you're mad ugly, Pop.
Yo, I like the way you always make fun of my Fiat, too.
Yo, it is so whack. It looked like a driving thumb. The first time I saw him, he tried to get away with driving a little, like a shit brown Fiat to our shows at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
I didn't know how to pull down the window.
Bro.
I opened the door in the middle of traffic. I was like, which way?
Well, you dick. And it just so happened that it was just, bad time. Everything in life is about timing. Sergio was pulling around a corner, and I was walking up on the corner, and I saw him stop to the red light, and I took a...
he's just like that with the phone.
And Sergio was like that.
Yo, we're all his firemen friends.
Like that.
Firefighter friends.
Guys like, that's his fucking car? Yeah. That car sucks.
It looks like it dispenses turtle shells and oil spills.
Yo, it was so whack.
Yeah, I pull up, and it goes...
Yo, it's whack. Yo.
Yeah.
And your family gets in there like that.
Little clown car.
But this shit, you can park that shit anywhere.
Yeah, I start the car, it goes...
Yo, shit is whack. It's still got a cassette player.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the good thing about that car is, like, if I don't find parking, I can bring that shit right in the crib.
Yo, for real.
That's small.
Yo,
parking is so dirtbag in New York. They put a city bike station on my block. You guess how many parking spots? You wouldn't care about this. You know why? Because now you live in Staten Island, where you have your own 2 parking spots.
Yo, park anywhere, Pop.
15 spots have been taken.
15?
15 on 5th Street. And then the
Damn.
next block over, 20 spots.
So what do you do? But you can find parking because your
Yeah,
car's
but
smaller.
the shit, they just put the shit in like 6 hours ago. But it's super dirtbag.
That's
Then
dirtbag.
they had the outdoor restaurants where crackheads are doing pull-ups with
Yo.
fucking neat syringes in their arms. Like all these outdoor food, eating areas have morphed into like crack dens.
Move to Staten Island.
Nah, man, I can't fuck with Staten Island, man. You're not
Yo.
gonna have me fucked up on the Verrazano Bridge paying $25 to get over that shit.
Yo.
Yo, one time I didn't even mean to go to your crib. I was going to Giannis's podcast, and I went all over to fucking Staten Island.
Yo.
To feel like that.
Yo, and you have to pay that fucking $20.
Yeah,
like
that shit. And I didn't get mad. You know why? Because I have spirituality in my life. I have a well-balanced life that includes running, eating right, American spirit every so often.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you
and
probably were
boxing.
smoking a cigarette in the car, hiding it from your family. Well, it's out.
Yeah. Yo, listen, man. We're gonna keep it short and sweet. You know why? Because Chris was late to this this podcast. So now we gotta cut it 15 minutes short so he can go on with his day because it's all about him.
ChristyComedy.com.
Yo, we got a bunch of fucking dates, man. And I'm
Yes.
so fucking happy to be a part of it. Honestly, it's gonna sound a little cheesy and corny, but I'm so fucking proud of you and everything you're doing, and I'm super happy to be a part of it. We got Homeless Pimp in the mix, archiving all this dope ass shit. Which, by the way, going back to my shit and my farts, we were at the Wilbur Theater. This is an iconic theater that lends itself to stand-up comedy, like no other theater, really, because we've done a bunch of theaters. Some
Yeah.
of them don't have the intimacy,
No.
you know. There's been times where I did like a 12-person show, like at Eastville. The next night you had me in Jersey, blinded by lights. I can't see the audience, and there's still fun shows, but it's just different. Like 1,000 people, and like waves of laughter. You gotta be patient with the laughs. They come in, boom, bang. You feel it, you live it. You're like, okay, that shit was dope, right? Chris goes up, knocks out the park. But with the Wilbur, I mean, it's old. You know that the comics that play there, it's iconic. It's in the heart of Boston, and it's a beautiful theater. Yo, what do? You would think I would do some research at the venue, maybe ask the manager, where's the secondary bathroom? No, we're in a green room, and there's like cantaloupe, grapes, pineapple. I go ahead and use the bathroom. It's so old, this place. The door doesn't lock.
Yo.
There's like a hot-ass heater, like
Yo.
like one of those steam heaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just took a nasty-ass fucking Boston baked bean shit.
And then I had to do an hour and a half podcast with his shit wafting the
Yo,
whole
there was
time.
like a green wafer just passing by.
Yo,
while
it
we
was
did
so
the
whack,
podcast.
and you would know it, and you fell asleep on the couch on the second floor.
Like that with my mouth open.
Yo, like that.
And Billy Hayes go, oh, he really fucking dropped the deuce.
You cock!
You cock!
It's disgusting. But yeah, man, we're gonna go on the road. Austin next week. Then we got the Borgata, Beacon Theater, Tampa Theater. We got the Tampa Theater, Beacon Theater, New York, Washington D.C. We got Atlanta. We got a whole bunch of shows. ChristyComedy.com, Pop.
It's gonna be fly. Yo, I appreciate you coming on, God. You know what I mean?
Pop. This is
You
the
know
one
what I'm
time you see me in this year. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask for this favor again.
Yo, I'm going to have him back on sooner than later, and I'm going to be on his podcast. When we're on the road, we do a lot of the Patreon episodes. It's going to be fire. It's going to be fire.
Five.
All right. Peace, guys. Appreciate y'all. We out. I mean, it's always going to be dirtbag shit podcast. The DBS podcast.